And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shaw versus Wallace. Step forward, please.
Barbershop owner Michael Shaw and his girlfriend, airline reservationist Katrina Wallace, are in court for the second time. Michael claims a paternity test proves he is not the father of her child. Judge Jodi has ordered a second test, and they're ready to hear the results.
This case was adjourned in order to conduct a proper paternity test. Mr. Shaw, you had been paying support for several years based upon what you claim is Ms. Wallace's statement that you were the father of her son. You subsequently determined that that was not true by a test that you took with your son during a period of time when you had him for visitation. I explained to you that that was not the proper way of taking a paternity test, that in order to take a paternity test that courts will find valid, all three people should be there at the same time so that you can each look at each other and say, this is Miss Wallace, this is Mr. Shaw, and this is the child. And I understand that you have done that.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have the test results?
Right here.
Thank you, Bird. It's a photograph that the laboratory takes at the time that they take the blood samples. How old is your son?
He's 2.
Big boy. Will you give each of the parties a copy of the test, please? See it?
Yes.
So it is clear, Miss Wallace, it is impossible, based upon the genetics, for Mr. Shaw to be your son's father. You understand that?
Yes.
So the issue presents itself to me as to whether you have to return to him the payments that he's made over the last 2 years.
Yes.
I'll hear you.
From the beginning, I actually thought that Mike was the father of my son, and he was there at the time he was born. He signed his birth certificate, and we had been carrying on as Mike being the father. He's had an active part in his life, and my son only knows him as his father. And it was never my intent to deceive him because I believed it as well.
Okay, Miss Wallace, when you became pregnant, did you tell Mr. Shaw, I'm pregnant?
Yes.
There is a strong probability that you're the father, but I have been intimate with one or more people, so it's possible that you're not.
No.
Did you tell him that?
No.
Then you did deceive him, Miss Wallace. The fact that you thought that he was the father is really a statement of you wanted him to be the father. Because if you had had sexual relations with both Mr. Shaw and others during the period of conception, and if you didn't say to him, I think you should take a paternity test because I have been intimate with others, then you did deceive him. No question about that. If she had told you that there was a possibility that you were not the father, but a possibility that you were, you would have taken the test before.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, of course, because you're not crazy. So this is a good example for you and for anybody else who might be out there listening. And one's belief, one's hope that somebody is the father of the child doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So before you start paying support, you get a paternity test to make sure. For you, there is no issue as to the amount of money that you've contributed. It's at least $5,000 over the last 2 years. But the problem is, this little boy now only knows one person is the father. Now Miss Wallace is going to have to start searching for who this child's father is, and at the age of 2 or 3 or 4, going to have to introduce somebody else. That's the real victim in this case is the child.
I understand.
You understand that?
Yes, I do.
And you created the situation. You have to understand that you created it because you weren't honest with him at the beginning. Got it?
Yes.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Naturally, I'm satisfied with the judgment.
A total shock.
When this situation occurred, I just felt like I had to do something.
My thoughts are that my son was the victim.
Not just stand by and let her take advantage of me.
Because he certainly has been a part of Mike's life.
I have no ill feelings against her.
And now he doesn't know anyone else as his father.
Or the son. I think You know, he's a handsome, very bright young man.
And so we have to move forward, and we will do that.
And I'd like to be, if at all possible, some part of his life in the future.
I don't see that happening.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Zook versus Brown. Step forward, please.
Computer business owner Carl Zook is suing 27-year-old bartender Kristen Brown for crashing into his parked car. Kristen says Carl is suing the wrong person.
Mr. Zook, would you remove that from the bench, please? Thank you very much. Mr. Zook, on what date was your parked car destroyed?
It was August 11th of 2002.
According to what I've read, your car was parked in front of your home, or not far from your home, and you were awakened by some loud noise. You came outside to find that your car had been severely damaged by a car that was white in color. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you saw the car pull away, and then the car came back again, barreling down the street and took off. As it turns out, I find that the car that damaged your car belonged to the defendant.
That's correct.
The defendant says that her car was stolen by someone. She doesn't know who. It's out of her control, and therefore she is not responsible for the damage to your car. You want her to pay for the damage to your car.
That's correct.
She says she's not responsible for the damage to your car. She wasn't driving her car when the incident happened. Her car was stolen. Is that what the case is about?
I don't know if the defendant claims the car is stolen.
The car wasn't in her control.
Correct.
She didn't have it.
Correct.
Okay. August 11th, 2002, where were you?
I was bartending.
What time did you go to work on the 11th?
I had to be there at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.
9 p.m.?
Yes.
Who is this?
This is the other bartender that night, and we both closed the bar together.
Okay. So when you got to work at 9 o'clock, you were driving. What kind of car were you driving?
I have a white Acura.
What year?
94.
Where did you park the car?
There's a parking lot behind the bar.
Any other cars there?
Yeah, quite a few.
Okay. And what time did you close up?
The bar closes at 2, and then it takes us at least 45 minutes, sometimes an hour and a half to close down the bar. We have to count out the register, clean the bar, tip out the doorman, all sorts of stuff. So we usually leave about 3 a.m.
Okay. 2 o'clock, closed. 2:45, 3 o'clock, you're out the door. And what happens when you get outside?
Usually get in my car and go home.
Well, what happened on the 11th of August?
That night, I actually, right before closing...
Try looking at me, right
Oh,
here.
sorry. Right before closing, I think I was starting to gather my stuff. I usually keep my car keys and other, lipstick, personal belongings on the back of the bar, and I noticed that my car keys were gone. And I ran out the back door to the parking lot and then noticed that my car was gone. Now, I had figured it's a really local bar. I have a ton of friends that hang out there. Everybody knows my car, and I just figured, one of my friends had too many drinks, did something stupid, took off with my car, so then I just asked the door guy if he could give me a ride home, and he took me home.
Mm-hmm. What information does this person have to contribute to this case?
Well, Peter can testify that at the time that the accident happened, I was still working, so that I was not behind the wheel of the car.
I don't even think that this gentleman thinks that you were necessarily behind the wheel of the car.
Well,
that doesn't mean that you didn't give the keys to somebody. What time was your car damaged?
1:55 a.m.
So she was working?
Yes.
I believe you were working. I don't believe that you are clueless as to who had your car. Madam, do you want to know why?
Why?
2 reasons. Because instead of bringing a witness who can testify to your surprise when you got outside and saw that you didn't have a car, you brought somebody who was going to just tell me that you were there. That was never an issue with the police, that it was you behind the wheel of the car. Maybe a boyfriend. Maybe a friend to whom you had given the keys. And second, that you didn't report this car stolen, did you?
No.
Well, here we have your white Acura that's missing. It's in the middle of the night. It's your only means of transportation. And you don't call the police to say to them, listen, somebody took my car, especially since you just said to me, I thought maybe one of my friends who had been drinking or something took my car. Somebody's drinking, driving your car in the middle of the night, and you don't think that that's cause to pick up the phone and call the police? For those reasons, madam, I don't believe your story. The police may have believed your story, but I don't. Who's Tom?
That was my boyfriend at the time.
Well, Tom brought your car in to be repaired.
That's what boyfriends do for girlfriends.
If they drive the car.
Or just as a favor.
Or if they drive the car. Oh, good. I'm glad to see this police officer also finds that you're full of baloney. Brown did not want to file a stolen vehicle report. I questioned her about the facts and told her that I did not find her story credible. Wow, oh, good for you. I asked her if she was willing to take a polygraph test. She declined. The boyfriend was also offered to take a polygraph test. He also miraculously declined. Ugh. Can I see the bills, please? I had enough. I hate people who don't fess up to their responsibilities. Is he still your boyfriend?
No, Your Honor.
When did he stop being your boyfriend?
Just recently.
Did he dump you or did you dump him?
It was mutual.
That's usually not true. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested, $5,000, which doesn't cover the damage, sir, but it's all I can give you. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, I'm really happy that Judge Jodi could see right through the story.
Figured if somebody took my car, it was somebody that knew me and knew it was my car.
The defendant's story wasn't at all credible.
More than likely a friend just being stupid at the moment.
No, I don't buy that at all.
I hope he gets his car fixed.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Scarfuto versus Mahoney, step forward.
20-year-old student Courtney Scarfuto is suing her boyfriend's roommate, 20-year-old florist Lacey Mahoney, for backing into her car.
Miss Scarfuto, is your boyfriend here? Where is he?
He's right here.
Was this your roommate?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he still your roommate?
Yes.
Okay, according to your complaint, you were over at your boyfriend's home and you claim that the defendant hit your car as she was pulling out of the driveway. Your insurance paid for the damage to your car, but you suffered out-of-pocket expenses, $500 deductible, you had to rent a car for a couple of days while they fixed it, and you also want her to be responsible for the increased insurance premiums that you're going to have to pay. Forget that part of it. Miss Mahoney says she never hit your car. When was your car damaged?
June 10th, 2003.
And what makes you think Miss Mahoney did it?
She came upstairs, asked me to move my car. I asked Christian to move my car for me. He went downstairs.
With her?
Correct. At that time, she told him that she had hit my car.
Oh, you weren't there?
No.
Step up. Last name?
Whiteley?
Okay, let's go to June 10th. Miss Mahoney comes upstairs where you are, and she said what to you?
She pointed out the damage. She said that she had hit the car and that she was unsure whether or not that she should stay there and admit to the mistake or whether she should go ahead and pull around the car and just simply leave.
And what did you tell her?
I told her that it would be best for her to go back upstairs and to notify my girlfriend, Your Honor.
And she said?
After hesitation, she agreed and we went back upstairs.
And what happened when you got upstairs?
Me and Lacey basically reported that the car had got hit by her, even though it was parked. We all agreed that we would go ahead and handle the situation by tomorrow because we're good friends, Your Honor.
And can I speak? And because she did not carry car insurance. And so since she did not carry car insurance, that
How do you not have insurance? How do you drive without insurance?
Your Honor, I wasn't driving. I was actually moving my car backwards so that we could open up the garage door. But it was on my property in my driveway. I was just moving
That's
it.
driving. Why doesn't your car have insurance?
Because I couldn't afford insurance at the time.
So you're not driving at all? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm not driving at all.
Is that true?
No.
Of course not. They seem to say that you admitted hitting her car.
Your Honor, I never admitted to hitting her car. I went downstairs for Christian to move the car. We both went downstairs. And he noticed the dent and asked if I had done it, and I said no. We went back upstairs, and he told her that there was a dent in her car, and nothing was said for the rest of the night.
That doesn't sound right to me. Somebody told her that there was a dent in her car, and she didn't go downstairs to look at it?
No.
Nobody said anything? Well, who did it? Is everything that you've told me, Miss Mahoney, as truthful as the fact that you don't drive this uninsured car?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't drive my car because it's uninsured and because it's unregistered.
No, you shouldn't drive your car because it's uninsured and not registered. That doesn't mean you don't drive it. Okay. You had a $500 deductible?
Yes, would you like to see the receipt?
You have any other witnesses that you want to hear?
Yes, I do. I have Mr. Nicholas Scandalius. He actually heard her say, he was in the room with both Christian and I.
Oh, step up.
And she actually came up and said, I've hit your car.
Are you another roommate?
No, I'm a very close friend of Mr. Whiteley's. I'm his best friend. I happened to be there at the night that the incident occurred.
Tell me what you remember.
All three of us were hanging out upstairs. Courtney asked Christian to move the car so Lacey could back out and leave. They both went down.
Back out and leave. Where was she going?
I have no idea.
Do you know where she was going?
I believe that she was just going to go to Huntington Beach like usual.
Go ahead.
So they both went downstairs to move the cars and whatnot. Lacey's car was directly in front of Miss Scarfudo's car in a driveway, so there's no way she could have left to right or anything. They promptly both came back upstairs very quickly, and Lacey said, "Oh my God, Courtney, I hit your car." I walked over to the windows, I saw a little dent in the hood, and Lacey's car was still behind Miss Scarfudo's car. That's what I saw, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Sit down. I see the deductible, please, and the damage to the car.
And then these photographs are Lacey's car with the spare tire, which damaged my hood. Pictures of my hood with the imprint of her spare tire, as well as the driveway.
How long did it take to fix the car?
It took 10 days times $23.99.
So between the $500 deductible and the rental car for the days that it took to fix your car, it was $922. What else?
I'm requesting the money that the insurance paid as well, because I do not believe that Lacey should benefit from the insurance that I pay every month.
Baloney.
Okay.
That's what insurance is for. Ms. Scarfudo. What?
I didn't hit the car.
Yes,
and
you did.
Honestly,
Yes, you did.
no.
You didn't hit the car and you weren't going to leave in your car.
No, I was
You were
not.
just moving it.
No.
And
I
you,
believe,
haven't, and you don't drive your car ever
no.
because it's not registered and you have no insurance.
Yes.
I don't believe you. Can you think of any reason why these two people and this gentleman would lie?
Courtney has been jealous of me and Christian's
I don't want to hear
relationship.
her jealous. Him.
Because
Explain that to me.
Christian is Courtney's boyfriend,
Right.
and Courtney throws a fit when she doesn't get her way.
And what about him?
Nick is Christian's best friend. And
So everybody's ganging up against you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $922. Thank you. That's all. Step out.
Please excuse. You may step out.
I think she got it hit before she came over and then blamed it on me.
I think that that's ridiculous, and I don't think I'm going to waste my time and my money to come to something like this if I was lying.
She's a really jealous person, and she screams and throws fits and cries all night when she doesn't get her way.
I think that she's just trying to get out of it.
She's just crazy.
I'm glad it's done, and like Rodney King said, can't we all just get along?
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hassanzadeh versus Clark. Step forward, please.
Kimberly Hasanzadeh and her daughter, 17-year-old Ashley, are suing singer Paul Clark and his son, 17-year-old Jeremy, for damage to her car. Ashley claims Jeremy and his friends pelted her with pudding.
What's your first name?
Jeremy,
How old are you, Jeremy?
17.
Are you an idiot?
No.
Is this your father?
Yes, yes.
Do you think your father would be very distressed to learn that after all that he's invested in you, he invested in an idiot?
I suppose so.
Yeah, right? Spent all that money? Let him drive a car? What kind of car was your father letting you drive?
This was a 91 Accord.
And who owns it?
It was actually my grandmother's.
So you have a grandmother who indulges you too.
Yeah.
Are you an only child, Jeremy?
No.
You have older siblings?
I have two older sisters and an older brother.
So you're the baby. Oh! There goes the problem, Mr. Clark. He's the baby. Ashley, did you know Jeremy before this event?
No, I did not.
Ashley's just driving her car, and you were driving your grandmother's car, and there were some other friends of yours that were in their cars.
Yes.
And some other friends who were also idiots, and they decided to throw pudding.
Yeah.
Not anything bad, just pudding.
Yeah, it's just...
What kind of pudding? Chocolate pudding, vanilla pudding?
It was a vanilla chocolate swirl.
And had you all gotten these pudding cups before you got into your cars?
Yeah.
Where did you get them from, Jeremy?
The local grocery store.
You bought a six-pack?
I think there's 2 6-packs per car. There's 3 cars.
Did you have spoons?
I actually did. Because
Okay. No, I'm trying to put this all together. You don't mind if I do this to your son, do you, Mr. Clark?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, now you're driving your grandmother's car.
Yes.
And you acknowledge that you, in fact, did toss pudding out of the car.
Yes.
But it is your contention that your pudding didn't hit her car. It was somebody else's pudding that hit her car.
It was a failed attempt.
You had a failed attempt. So that's your defense.
Yes.
You say his pudding landed in your car.
Yes.
Okay. You're driving along and you have your pudding in your hand.
Not while I was driving, though.
Where was it?
It was in the center console.
Now, what prompted you, Jeremy, to pick up that pudding and chuck it out of your car?
The initial was that they flipped us off and sped off.
Ashley and her friends?
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. When you say they flipped you off, you do not have to demonstrate. Bird understands what that means, and so do I.
Yeah.
Were you saying anything to them, or any of your friends?
There was a light conversation, but...
There was light conversation?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
Like what kind of light conversation?
Well, we were driving next to him, and I had waved to him because they're looking over, so I politely waved.
Show me how you did that.
Kind of just a, hey, how you doing type wave. We're going 45, 50 miles an hour down the road, and you can't really tell what they're saying.
Okay, so then they flipped you off, and you got mad. And did they flip you off, or your friends as well?
Well, it was the car. It was kind of, they took off, and...
Well, but there was more than one car.
True,
so
but yeah,
you went like
it was
this.
my car.
So you were the one that was
yes.
disrespected.
Yes, I felt disrespected.
Do you have a photograph of your car?
I took these photographs after she had cleaned it, but it will still show it got on the speaker. That it's the area she couldn't get it because it's convertible and the top was down, and she could not get it out of all the little areas.
Okay, did you pay to have it cleaned?
Yes. Here's the receipt.
Good.
And we just asked them to clean the areas where the pudding had gotten into the speaker and all the little areas of her soft top. The convertible top was down.
Okay. Now, Jeremy, who was it who landed their pudding in the plaintiff's car?
We actually don't know. We know what car it came
That's
from.
all I want to know.
Okay.
You actually don't know.
We actually
But
don't
it would
know.
be safe to say, Jeremy, since you were the one who was disrespected,
Yes.
and you were the one who threw the pudding first, even though it didn't land on the car, right?
Uh-huh.
Listen to this logic, Jeremy.
Okay.
'Cause you seem like a, at least academically smart boy.
Well, thanks.
Not socially adept, but academically smart boy. It would be a fair statement that your friends followed suit in the other cars, right?
Yes.
So you are a leader.
I am.
You know what
I will be
leaders
considered a
do?
leader.
They take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So now we have, for your team, $89.99 plus tax, $96.76 for detailing. He's got to pay for being a fool. That's all. Right?
Right.
Good. No excuses. I love it. I love it. He's not such an idiot after all, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, ma'am.
All that money that you spent on the baby wasn't wasted. Judgment for
I
the
have great
plaintiff in the
kids.
amount of $96.76. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think Judge Judy did great. We really like her.
It was an idiot act on my part.
I wouldn't call it flirting by any means.
It's an example pudding. It shows that it's just a harmless piece of plastic with some tasty pudding in it.
We were just driving around and they were the ones who were trying to get our attention first.
It's from the car out. It's kind of a lob. We weren't looking for damage. Soft lob.
I think this boy's being really silly.
I apologize if you were hurt during the whole thing.
Apology accepted.
Oh, thank you.
21-year-old student Lindsay Highland is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old Eddie Rubio, and his friend, 22-year-old Jason Johnson, for wrecking a car that was rented in her name.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 233 on the calendar in the matter of Highland versus Rubio Johnson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Highland, you did a very, very stupid thing that I'm sure you'll never, never do again, which is that you allowed both of these gentlemen to use your credit card for the purposes of renting a car. There was an accident. I understand the accident wasn't their fault, according to their answer, but you still got stuck with the bill.
Yes, ma'am.
And you want them to reimburse you for that bill.
Yes, ma'am.
They say you should have gotten insurance, right?
Yes. Yes.
Which one of these gentlemen do you know?
Eddie, the one in the blue.
How do you know Eddie?
Me and Eddie have been dating. We started dating in September.
Are you still dating?
No.
When did you stop dating?
We stopped dating about 3 weeks after the accident.
And tell me about the request to use your credit card and when that was.
Around the last week of February, Eddie approached me concerning their Mardi Gras trip. They said they had all their plans taken care of, but the matter of a rental car was the problem. They said that they couldn't rent a car because none of them had a credit card. So
how did they get a room for Mardi Gras? How did you get a room, Eddie?
We stayed with the sister.
And there were 3 of you going?
Yes, there was.
And none of you had a credit card?
None of us.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Well, ma'am, I did have a credit card. It's just we went to the airport to rent one, and they said I had to be 23 years of age, so they wouldn't let me.
Oh.
But I had one.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
How old are you?
21.
How come it was okay for her to rent a car using her credit card?
They went to a different location than I went to.
Well, why didn't you go to the same location she went to?
I had no means of transportation.
Your Honor, I offered to take all of the guys to the rental place with me. Eddie was the only one who decided to go. Jason decided to stay in bed. He didn't want to go that
Were
day.
you living together?
No. We lived close by each other. Those two were living together at the time.
Okay. So you went to a rental place, and which rental place did you go to?
Enterprise.
Who went? You?
Myself and Eddie.
Let me see the paperwork that you filled out. And who filled it out?
I did.
And when she filled out the paperwork, Eddie, where were you?
I was right beside her.
Did you put him down as a driver?
I put all of them down as a driver.
Authorized drivers over 21. No, it doesn't list anybody else's name.
She didn't ask me. She said, are all the guys going to be driving? I said, yes, ma'am.
You got to be more careful.
Yes, ma'am.
But he was there.
He was
right?
there.
Yes, I was.
And you were watching her fill this out.
Yes, I was.
And you saw that she declined any insurance.
No, I didn't. I thought
well,
she
then
had
you should have
insurance.
looked more carefully.
Ma'am, we discussed in my house that we were going to get the insurance. And we had already figured the price in for the insurance. So when they went, she had the money. So we knew that there was going to be insurance. So there was no need to ask after that.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, at the time when we went to rent the car, none of them had very much money. I lent Eddie $200 to make the trip.
Is that right, Eddie?
Yes, you did.
Go ahead.
And when the lady asked me, she said, would you like insurance? And I looked at Eddie, I said, you'll be driving the car, it'll be in your possession. He said, we can't afford it, we don't need it.
Did you say that to her,
No, I
Eddie?
didn't, ma'am.
Just say you weren't there, right?
No, ma'am.
Move over. And don't open your mouth again. And take your hands away from your pockets. Don't open your mouth again, because you weren't there, because you didn't get out of bed.
Yes, ma'am.
So don't open your mouth again until I ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. You were standing there and you saw her fill out this form where she declined insurance. There is no question in my mind that if you didn't watch her, you should have.
I thought she got the insurance.
I don't care what you thought. What'd you go there with her for?
Because we needed to get the car, and it just went. She wanted someone to go with her, and I did. I thought she had insurance. I thought she...
You're supposed to know. And I believe her when she says that she said to you, and you said, we don't have that much money. It'll be fine.
No, I didn't, man.
Especially since you didn't even have enough money to go on the trip.
I loaned some money. I paid her back.
No, you didn't loan. You borrowed.
Borrowed some money.
How much money did they give you for the car?
Eddie and Jason gave me $90 apiece, and they said that they were going to pay the rest when they got back. We didn't have to pay for the car until we returned it.
What about the third person?
No.
So they didn't even have enough money to give you the entire amount of money before they went?
No.
You're really not smart. You'll never do it again.
No, ma'am.
And you will certainly tell all your friends, letting anybody else rent a car on their credit card is the dumbest thing that you can do.
Yes, Your
well,
Honor.
among the dumbest things that you can do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Who was driving?
Ryan,
Where is he?
he's not here.
He was afraid to fly.
No, my dear, he was afraid of me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lindsay Highland says ex-boyfriend Eddie Rubio and his friend Jason Johnson owe for a wrecked car. Lindsay says the vehicle was rented with her credit card.
You took a chance. You lost. Why should she get stuck with your problem? What do you do for a living?
I'm a student
A student where?
at Upper Iowa University.
When are you graduating?
Next year.
Why is it taking you so long?
I just took a year off college.
Why did you take off a year?
I just wanted to take off a year. Didn't feel like going to school for the year, so I took it off.
Who's paying for your school now?
Financial aid and loans. But when we got the car, I told her to get the insurance, because I've been through it in the past.
No.
And I had
No,
insurance.
sweetheart. You did not tell her to get the insurance because it was too much money. It would have practically doubled the cost of the car to get the insurance. You didn't even have enough money to give her for the rental car to begin with. And even if you said to her, get the insurance, you were standing right there. You have a mouth. You say to her, Lindsay, I told you we must have the insurance. I'm not taking the car out without the insurance. You could say that, can't you? And I want you to repeat after me. Lindsay,
Lindsay,
I'm not taking the car out without the insurance.
I'm not taking the car out without the
See how easy that was?
I did do it.
No. So, I'm not taking the car out without insurance. Here is the paperwork. Even after you took a year off from college, you didn't lose the first 3 years, so I assume you can read English. Is that right, Eddie?
Yes, I can.
So that you have an opportunity to look at the paperwork before you put it in the car, right?
Correct.
The fact that you didn't, that's your problem.
We didn't find out until we got in the accident.
Listen to me, Eddie.
So
You're not following what I'm saying to you. You were there with her. Lindsay, I'm not taking the car out without the insurance. You look at the paperwork, which you keep in the car, because you have to keep the paperwork in the car, right, Eddie?
yes.
And you say, I can't take this car out, it doesn't have insurance. I'm not obligating myself. I'm leaving the car here. What do you want?
They told me that that I could just use my insurance. If anything happened, I could just put it on my insurance.
Who told you that?
The guys. They were all aware that there was no insurance.
I believe that they were. Now, Eddie, tell me about the accident.
We're coming back, and in Jackson, Mississippi, there was a semi that...
Give me whole sentences. There's a semi what?
Semi-truck.
Semi means half. There's a half.
There was
What
a
you talk to me
semi-truck.
is about a half. There was a half that what?
There was a semi-truck that ran us off the road, and we hit the embankment, and they came back and hit it again. We had a flat tire, so we couldn't chase them, so he just left, and they...
Just a second. So a truck hit you. Let me get this. Truck hit you, and then after it hit you, it came back and it hit you again?
Well, we hit the side rail, and they came back, and we met again.
Oh, okay. It didn't come back to hit you purposely
Yeah.
for the second time. Is that right?
Correct.
Go ahead.
So it was considered a hit and run, so it wasn't our fault.
Mm-hmm.
So why should we pay if she should have got the insurance?
May I speak?
Who was driving?
Ryan,
Where is he?
he's not here. He didn't show up.
He was afraid to fly. And he told...
No, my dear. He was afraid of me.
Yes.
All right. Move over. What do you want?
Ma'am, I did have enough money for the insurance because I was going to use my credit card to rent the car. So when we went and found out the first time, I had enough on my card. I just was not of age.
Listen to me. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I could have rented the car on my credit card. I would have if I got out of bed. And I could have because I had enough money. But you didn't, right?
No, ma'am.
What should this cost you?
$7,800. And Your Honor, this has gone on my credit, and I am in
Just a second. So have you paid it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So the money has to go to Enterprise.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And so you're suing for the maximum allowable in this court, which is $5,000, but whatever recovery that you make, the check will be made payable to Enterprise.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is now affecting my financial aid, and I may not be able to finish my senior year of college.
No. Next time, you think twice about, being foolish. It's certainly not affecting his last year of college, and it looks to me as if you're going to get a lot more out of your last year of college than Eddie. You can move back now. The two of you were responsible because you had an agreement with her. Your agreement was that you were going to rent this car. She was merely providing the mechanism for you to do that. You had the opportunity to use his credit card, chose not to do that. You used hers. You had knowledge of the fact that insurance was declined. You chose to drive the car anyway. This is your problem, not hers. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm glad that she saw that I made a mistake, but that they were ultimately responsible.
I feel bad, but it's her fault. She should have got the insurance.
He refused to pay me back. He said that it was my problem, and he understands we're going out, but he can't afford it, and I signed the paper, so it was my problem.
That little bit of trip wasn't worth it, man. It really wasn't worth it.
24-year-old car salesman Robert Mack Jr. is suing his former friend, 24-year-old concert producer Joshua Lopez, and his brother Eric Windnagel for the value of a car. Robert says Joshua stole the title.
Quiet in the courtroom, please. Yeah, this is case number 119 on the calendar in the matter of Mack versus Lopez Windnagel. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. Mack, it is your claim that you sold a car to one of these defendants. I don't know which one. Which one? Lopez?
Yes.
I don't know who you are. Sit down.
You said that.
Sit down. You sold a car to Mr. Lopez, and he hasn't paid you for the car.
That's correct.
Mr. Lopez says he did not buy a car from you. He bought a car from somebody whose name is Mr. Stanley. You were merely the go-between. He owes you a finder's fee, and he wishes he could find Mr. Stanley because he owes him money, too, and he hasn't paid him. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And where's the car?
The car's in my garage.
Okay, so you're lucky. You have a car, but you haven't paid for, and you haven't paid the finder's fee, right? So you have everything.
Correct. As of right now, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, Mr. Mack, tell me about this car and the surrounding circumstances of the sale.
I agreed to buy a car off of Mr. Stanley, who's present in the courtroom.
That's Mr. Stanley.
Yes, it is.
Nice to see you.
And we had negotiated a price. I had showed, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You agreed to buy a car from Mr. Stanley.
That's correct.
What year car was this?
1990.
1990 what?
Chevy Cavalier, 2-door.
Was it running?
Yes.
Tell the truth. I'm sorry.
And Mr. Stanley,
Yes, ma'am.
what were you going to sell him the car for? How much? Mr. Stanley, look at me. That's not a hard question, sir. The questions are going to get harder.
Oh, I sold the car to Mr. Mack for $500.
On what date did you sell it to him for $500?
On around the end of July.
End of July doesn't help me, sir.
Maybe July 29th, 2002.
And why were you selling it?
Because my wife and I built a new house and we had to move it. It was in the driveway and it was off the road.
Because it wasn't running?
No, it did run.
Did it run the length of the driveway, or could you take it on a trip to Canada?
You could have took it on a trip to California, Your Honor.
No, you
Perfect.
couldn't.
So you were selling this well-running car that you could drive cross-country for $500 to Mr. Mack.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Mack. Now, Mr. Lopez was a friend of yours, is that right?
An acquaintance.
Acquaintance. Who you knew was looking for a car, and you told him that you had a car.
That's correct.
When did you sell him the car?
Well, right after I had purchased the car from Mr. Stanley. I had shown Mr. Lopez
You mean
the car.
a day later?
Yes.
So say July 30th, you sold it to Mr. Lopez for how much?
That's correct, for $1,000. I had shown Mr. Lopez the car. I had shown Mr. Lopez the car. He agreed that he liked the car. I told him I wanted $1,000 for it.
He's lying.
Mr. Lopez,
I'm sorry.
I don't want you to say anything until
Yes,
I ask you a question.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were going to make a quick $500.
That's correct.
How do you know Mr. Stanley?
Friends with his son.
How did you come to a price of $500, sir?
That's what I had into the car. To get it back in running condition, I had new brakes, rotors, tires, exhaust system.
So why did you want to sell it for $500, sir?
That's what I had into it. I sold the house, I had to move the car.
Fine. Now, when you sold the car to Mr. Mack, did you turn over the title to him? The answer is either yes or no.
No.
Did you have the title?
Yes.
Did Mr. Mack pay you for it?
He gave me $300.
So he hasn't paid you for it.
Then Mr. Lopez and Mr. Mack came to the house, and Rob Mack told me that Lopez was buying the car. I didn't ask how much. I said, "You going to be able to pay for the car?" He said, "Yeah. My brother's got a
taco stand."
Could you do me a favor? Don't help him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
A taco stand or a hot dog stand at the carnival. Just a second. I'm going to
So
work
what
at.
you're telling me, Mr. Stanley, is that Mr. Mack agreed to purchase your car for $500 on the 29th of July. You did not turn over the title to him. You did not make an exchange of any documents with him, but he gave you $300.
Right.
And you have not been paid the other $200. Is that right?
No. Robert Mack gave me another $100. I gave him the title because we were in the shuffle of moving.
Just a second. So now you've got $400 towards the total purchase
Right.
price of the car.
And he still owes me.
So you're still owed $100
Right.
on the car.
Right.
Okay. Who's got the title to the car? You do.
Yes, ma'am.
Interesting. Now, sit down for a moment,
Thank you.
please. Okay, so as far as you're concerned, Mr. Mack, you got how much money from Mr. Lopez?
Like $20.
Okay. Now, Mr. Lopez, you
Yes,
tell me
ma'am.
your version of this fairy story.
That was a good story they came up
Okay,
with.
let me hear your version of it, sir.
End of July, around July 25th, 26th, me and Mr. Mack were together. I said I was talking to him about I needed a car, and he said, well, I know somebody that's got one. He's selling it for $200. Let's go look at it. All right, let's go. We went out there that minute. I believe it was in front of his daughter's house. It looked like it was sitting there about 2 years or maybe a year. It had weeds around it. I really didn't care. I just needed a winter car, so I was like, okay. Me and Mr. Mack went to in the back of Mr. Stanley's house where Mr. Stanley was doing something with his horses. And Mr. Mack told Mr. Stanley, I got a buyer. You know, can we get the keys? Mr. Stanley said, you know what, I'm doing something right now. Come back in about an hour. I'll have the keys for you. Me and Rob then went back to the car again so I could just look over it while we're waiting for Mr. Stanley to get the keys. We open the door and there's bees all in there.
Bees?
Bees nests, yes, ma'am. So me and Mr. Mack go to the gas station about a mile down the road and get Hornet spray, come back, spray it all out. Open the hood, there's more bees. Like I said, we cleaned out all the bees. By that time, Mr. Mack's ready to go to
Just
Mr.
a
Stanley.
second. So far, does that sound like something that could have happened? You don't make up that story, right?
Oh, that could have happened.
Yeah. You don't make up that story. I mean, you can make up a lot of stories, but that story you don't make up. Nope. Right?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He said acquaintance. I've known this gentleman for over 8 years.
If Mr. Mack wants me to believe him,
He's an
you were
acquaintance.
merely an acquaintance
Right.
because when somebody is a friend, you wouldn't screw him like he screwed you.
You're right.
And later today,
Do you have any evidence here?
No, I don't have any evidence.
So you have no evidence. You're coming to court. You have to bring more than a smile when you come to court.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Mack Jr. claims former friend Joshua Lopez owes for a car he bought from his friend. Joshua claims Robert is pulling a scam.
Go ahead.
Okay. Like I said, me and Mr. Mack went back to Mr. Stanley's house. By that time, he finally gives us a single key on a ring. I don't know, might have had a little ornament or something on it. And we go back, start it up. I said, well, can I drive it up and down the road, you know? And Mr. Stanley was not present at the time. It was just me and Mr. Mack. I drove it up and down the road. It was okay. He said, how do you want to get back to Lockport? I said, I'll just drive it. No registration, no insurance, no plates, no nothing. I'll just
I
drive
had
it.
dealer
Let's go.
plates, Your Honor, when we moved the car.
He's lying. He's got a lot of stories.
Mr. Lopez, don't make it worse.
Okay, I
so far, you're
apologize.
doing
It's
okay.
I came here to tell the truth, and they're that's...
So far, I haven't heard anything about negotiating price.
Okay. When we were looking at it, before we went to the store, me and him talked. He said, Mr. Stanley only wants $200 for the car. I don't know what he's talking about, $5,000 or $1,000. He said, you give me $250, $50 for me being the finder, $200 for Mr. Stanley, we'll call it a day. I said, that's fine with me, $200 for a winter car, that's good. And then we went back to Mr. Stanley's trailer house. He asked, do you want to buy it? I said, yes, I do. He looked at Mr. Mack and said, can you trust this guy for me to give him the title and the keys, and he's going to pay us? Rob said, yes. You know, I'll give you my word, he's going to pay me. If not, then I'll pay for it. So we go back to the car. We had an extension cord. I tied to the bumper and tied to the bumper of the car he was driving. And to act like we were pulling it, I drove the car. He drove the front one. We took the first right, and the cord broke. So I just pulled over, and a guy pulled over to help us. Do you need help? I said, no. Before the cops come and I go to jail for driving this car with no registration, no insurance, no plates, no nothing, let's just drive it. So he's like, oh, okay. He gets in his car. I do like 90 all the way home. That's, you know.
When did you get the title?
I arrived home with Mr. Mack accompanying behind me. We started talking about 3 days before I left for Syracuse State Fair, which is in like the end of the second week or third week of August.
Meanwhile, you haven't been driving the car?
No. It's been parked. Never has been put on the road since then. Never's been driven.
Why?
It didn't have a new muffler system. My brother paid for a new muffler for it. I have pictures of a brand new starter we put in it. After I got it home, the next day I tried to start it. It wouldn't start. The starter died.
Okay. You got the title when?
3 days before I left for Syracuse State Fair.
How?
Mr. Mack brought it to my house.
Okay,
and my girlfriend, Tony, was present at the time.
When he brought it to your house, didn't he ask you for any money?
No, he did not. Our agreement was for me to pay him off of the contract that I signed with Syracuse State Fair. When I got back, I was to pay him.
What were you doing at the Syracuse State Fair?
My brother met an individual, a gentleman where he works for, and we do pizzas, like in the little fried dough concession stands and the lemonade and pizza.
Okay,
at
so
Carnivals.
you were
We were
food,
one of them.
you had a food concession.
Yep.
Okay, so you haven't paid Mr. Mack his $50.
No.
And you haven't paid anything to Mr. Stanley.
No.
Okay, now Mr. Stanley says he's only owed another $100. Is that right?
That's right. From Mr. Mack.
You don't care who you get it from, right?
No, Your Honor. I don't care.
Your Honor, I'd also like to show you the value. I went on the computer, the value of the car that I sold Mr. Lopez.
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Mack. You're not going to get $1,000. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Even if I believe probably bits and snippets of both of these stories, I think that what you did was overreaching. I don't know if this is an appropriate word for a judge to use, but I'm going to use it. Either you screwed Mr. Stanley or you screwed Mr. Lopez. Because if you're going to show me the value of a car, then you shouldn't have screwed Mr. Stanley because he sold your car for $500, or you screwed Mr. Lopez because you sold it to him less than 24 hours later, if I were to believe you, and doubled your money without paying a penny.
I thought that
So
was...
you screwed either him or you screwed him. So from this court, you're not getting your $1,000. Do you understand?
That's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. $50 finder's fee, I would say, for not doing any work at all whatsoever, that's pretty reasonable. I think that's, for somebody who's an acquaintance, that's a pretty reasonable thing.
Ma'am, may I say something, please?
Go ahead.
He said acquaintance. I've known this gentleman for over 8 years. He hung at my house. He spent the night. That's more than an acquaintance to me.
Listen to me.
Right now.
Maybe to you. But if Mr. Mack wants me to believe him, you were merely an acquaintance,
right,
because when somebody is a friend, you wouldn't screw him like he screwed you.
You're right.
Now, I don't believe you, Mr. Lopez, that you were going to spend $200 for this car. And I'm going to tell you why. I believe $500 was a more appropriate figure, because why would Mr. Stanley over here say that he was already paid $400? That is what you testified, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're owed another $100.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't care who you get that from.
You're right.
So you say that you owe Mr. Stanley $200.
$200, because that was a...
So this is what we're going to do. You're going to be real happy about this. You only have to pay Mr. Stanley $100.
Okay.
You have to show me where you paid Mr. Stanley $400. Can you do that?
Other than his word, I have no paperwork because
I don't know whether I don't know if he knows whether today is Tuesday. You know what we're talking about? You know what I'm talking about with you, sir? I don't know if he knows what today is Tuesday, and I don't know what kind of scam you're pulling, but I'm getting really irritated.
No,
so you are entitled to a $50 finder's fee, which Mr. Lopez says he agreed to pay you.
I did.
That's all you're entitled to.
Question, Your Honor. If I bought the car from Mr. Stanley for $500,
Show me a purchase bill of sale.
he wouldn't give me one until I paid him for the until I paid him the $500. Why would he write me a bill of sale if I didn't
He
pay him
could
the
write
money?
you a note saying that you had given him $300 down or $400 down. You still owe him $100. I've sold my car on this 29th day of July 2002 to Mr. Mack for the amount of $500. He's given me $300 down, owes me another $200. Signed, what's your first name?
Robert.
Robert Stanley. That's very simple, right? See, when you try to be a con artist, that's what happens, Mr. Mack. When you try to outsmart people, then sometimes you get outsmarted yourself. You're entitled from Mr. Lopez the amount of $50. That's finder's fee, because I believe that part of Mr. Lopez's testimony that that's what you told him you wanted, $50 for finding this car. Who paid for the bee spray?
I did.
That's all. And if Mr. Stanley wants his $100 back that he says he didn't get, which I'm not so sure about, what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to sue one of you. Bye. From him, you get $50 because that's what you agreed to.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
First, I just want to say hi to a couple people. My girlfriend, Stacia Stanley, my sister, parents.
Our original agreement was 50 finder's fee, 200 for Mr. Stanley.
I bought the car off of Mr. Stanley for $500. I got conned. Only in America.
A con artist tried to come in here and scam somebody and got conned. That's it.
You know, this is America, and I got conned out of my money.
Judge Judy pinned it on the nose. He's a con artist.
The con artist.
He's nothing but a liar, a con artist, and he's trailer trash.
Yeah, we were friends, but, you know, friends backstab.
He made an agreement with me. He stabbed me in my back.
Friends like that, you don't need enemies.
Hey, demolition work.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 2115, Atar versus Rose.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Attar, you were hired to do some, according to you, demolition work and other work at a property owned by Mr. and Mrs. Rhodes. You gave them an estimate for that work. I think the estimate was $11,500. Is that correct?
Correct.
And it was outlined what work you were supposed to do. You started that work, and according to you, at some point there was disagreement with either or both of the Rhodeses, and they stopped payment on a check that they gave you.
Correct.
And the check that they gave you was for $4,200. And then you stopped work for them.
Yes, ma'am, we're finished.
So you're suing them for the canceled check and for other unpaid work that you did that you didn't get paid for.
Correct.
Mr. and Mrs. Rhodes say that they were not satisfied with the quality of your work. It cost them $9,000 to both replace things that were stolen from their property by either you or members of your team, something which I don't think that you question that somebody from your team, not you, somebody from your team may have taken metal property of theirs that they didn't own. So let's go back. Mr. and Mrs. Rhodes, is this a new property to you, or is this a property that you owned for a while?
It's a new property to us.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So is it a private house?
Yes, and we were remodeling it.
Okay, when did you purchase it?
We purchased in January of 2021.
Is it a single-family residence?
Yes.
How much did you pay for it?
$769,000.
Describe the property to me.
It's in northern Altaloma or Rancho Cucamonga. It's an acre property, has 2 levels on it, and a single-family ranch-style home on it right now. And what we asked him to do was demolition the lower half.
Do you have a photograph?
I do.
I'd like to look at a photograph of what you wanted him to do.
That's what the lower half looked like before.
So this whole portion you wanted him
correct
to demolish
To demolish,
and remove the debris.
And grade flat.
Fill it in.
Remove all the debris.
Yes.
Okay. And did you have a written contract?
We did not.
Well, that's always a mistake.
Always.
How did you find him?
I believe I got his business card. It was on my personal car, I think at Home Depot. We had bought this house, and we tried to find somebody to do the work, but...
Mr. Rhodes, let me tell you that the best way to find somebody is not somebody who leaves a card on your car at Home Depot or any place else.
It was a difficult time to find contractors with COVID and everything at that time.
And at the time, I'm also going to add, because I read in the paper somewhere at the time, he didn't have a license.
He did not.
And you knew he didn't have a license.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I told him, Your Honor. I do not
Just a second. They didn't say no, we didn't know. They said we knew. So you got somebody who had no license to do what you wanted him to do, and you got his number from a card that he left on your windshield. Did you ask for references? That's either a yes or a no.
No, and I'm not really sure actually 100% on where I found that card. I think
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he did tell us he was in the process of getting his license, that it was coming.
Yeah. I know.
What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. You're two intelligent people. Okay. So you hired an unlicensed contractor to do work on your house and agreed to pay him $11,500. Now, Mr. Rattar, the $11,000 included labor and materials. Is that correct?
There was no material. It was labor and bins.
Well, that's material, labor and bins to remove
Yes, ma'am.
all the equipment that you needed
Yes, ma'am.
to complete the job.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Of before, too. Of what I was supposed to do, and I took a picture.
Well, no, I have that.
You have the wrong picture, Your Honor.
Okay, I'd like to see the picture that he has.
I was supposed to do from the post all the way to the other post, remove everything, and the pool and the deck.
Mr. Rattar, the $11,500 was an...
Correct.
From what I'm piecing together, you hired somebody in a Bobcat to do a Bobcat. That's a big piece of equipment that knocks down something.
I rented a Bobcat.
And somebody who operated it.
My worker.
You didn't know how to operate the Bobcat.
I know how to operate Bobcat, but I was controlling the demolition site, ma'am. I was like many things was going at the same time. I had to control everything.
Mr. Rattar, something happened with the Bobcat, the original one that you got. What happened with it?
It broke down on us.
No, it didn't break down on them. It broke down on you.
On us.
It broke down on you.
Yes.
So what did you do?
I took it back, and next day supposed to deliver me another one, but they sent me a drunk driver and another broken down Bobcat. I returned it. At that moment, I asked Mrs. Rhodes, can you please go down Home Depot, which is like a mile away, so we don't stop wasting time, rent a Bobcat.
Just a second. Why should she rent a Bobcat, sir? Your $11,500 included the Bobcat.
But I was paid for it.
No. If you're going to pay for it, that's one thing. Then what are you sending her for? If your $11,500 figure included all materials, then she doesn't have to rent a Bobcat. If you rented one that didn't work, rent one that works. How much of a down payment did they give you?
Presume was $4,000.
When did you start the job?
I started the job on 15th of January.
When did you leave the job?
I was asked to leave on the 2nd of February.
On February 2nd?
Yes, ma'am. Not to go back, I will call the cops on you.
Between January 15th and February 2nd, other than the $4,000, did they give you any other money?
Yes, Your Honor, they did.
How much money did they give you?
They gave me up to $7,000.
So they gave you an additional $3,000?
Yes, and $1,000 check.
Your Honor, that was within the first week we gave him.
It doesn't matter to me. My question was between January 15th and February 2nd, they gave you $7,000.
Correct.
Explain the other $4,200, which is the check that they stopped payment on.
Okay. I'll happily explain to you. The Bobcat she rented for me on her behalf, it cost $329 to rent per day. And I rented for one day only, but they...
Do you have a photograph of what the property looked like when you left?
Yes, ma'am. The last picture I took before I was kicked out of the property.
You're talking, I'm not listening to you.
Michael Attar claims his former clients, Mary and Michael Rhodes, owe for unpaid demolition work. Mary and Michael are countersuing. for lost wages, equipment rental, and missing property.
Now, they paid you $7,000.
Correct.
They wrote you another check.
The final check was supposed to be $5,000, but they only gave me $4,200 because they mined $800 for the Bobcat rental.
Just a second. First of all, the total bill wasn't 7 and 5. 7 and 5, even my rudimentary math, is $12,000. That would be $500 more than your agreed contract, which was for 11.5.
They gave me $6,500 because they gave me small checks. They gave me the first initial
Just a
check,
second.
and they gave me smaller ones.
Sir, you're the businessman, whether you have a license or not. I asked you before how much money did they give you between January 15th and February 2nd, and you said $7,000.
I didn't write it down, Your Honor.
Well, you're here asking for money, and you have to write it down. You have to have
work
some.
I've done performed already. And
No, sir.
And I just did the job, Your Honor. I did 7, 8 other side jobs.
I don't care whether you did 7 or 8 side jobs. Your original agreement with them was for $11,500, including all material. Now, what you said to me was that they gave you $7,000, and you said they're supposed to give me another $5,000. Well, another $5,000 is more than your quote.
Ma'am, the balance was $5,000.
How?
The initial check, then they gave me $1,000, $1,000, $1,000.
How much money did you give them all together that he cashed?
$7,000.
Then they owed you $4,500, pursuant to your agreement.
We agreed to $11,000, not $11,500.
$11,500, Your Honor.
And it will indicate that it's $11,500. If they gave you $7,000, they don't owe you $5,000. They owed you the difference between $11,500 and the $7,000 that they gave you. Now, one of the things that you disputed, Mr. Attar, was this Bobcat. Who paid for the Bobcat? Show me.
They minus it from the final price.
Just a second. Was that an argument?
The argument about it is, Your Honor, is they rented for 1 day, but they charged me 2 days, $800. There's no Bobcat rental for $800 for 2 days. I got.
Do you have the bill for the Bobcat?
I do, yes. And it was for 2 days.
Go over a certain time.
Because it was returned late. So they charged a second day. But in his text messages, he did request it for 2 days.
Is that the total price?
Yes, and I did not subtract it from his payment.
Total contract was $652.74?
Yes.
Do you have a photograph of what the property looked like when you left?
Yes, ma'am. The last picture I took before I was kicked out of the property.
You're talking, I'm not listening to you. Just show me a picture.
Yes, ma'am. This is not a picture.
Mr. Attar, you're the businessman.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your company.
Yes, ma'am.
Company requires, A, a license before you operate, which you didn't have.
If you do.
B, it requires a written contract. You're the businessman. They're people who bought a house who got your number off a windshield someplace. You're the businessman, and you want the parameters. You want them fixed. So I don't know if it's 11,000 or 11,500. Do you understand?
Very much, Your Honor.
Right. Well, that's your mistake. You look as if you've probably been in business for a long time.
14 years.
And is what you're telling me you don't have written contracts?
All my contracts are verbal.
Then how many times have you been in court, sir?
Never.
Never.
I never had a stop payment check. Never paid me on time, Your Honor.
It's a problem. So when you finished, the debris wasn't all removed.
That wood, they kept telling me, don't touch it. Their neighbor, cousin, whoever's going to come pick it up. That was just cut cord wood.
No. There's brick. There's wood, there's cement.
We cleaned all that. I personally cleaned all that.
Just a second. What I asked you, Mr. Attar, was show me a picture.
Did more. I wasn't taking pictures. I wasn't expecting somebody to stop payment on a check, Your Honor. I was not expecting that.
What it looked like when he left.
What about after?
Well, what are you showing me here? This brick that's here?
They piled it there and then left it there.
Well, that's probably a good one.
No, it was supposed to be removed.
So this is the back.
That's the picture of the sagging patio because he removed part of the supports that were holding up the patio that he wasn't supposed to. So it's now sagging.
Now, this is the picture that you gave me when you told me this is what you wanted, level, cleared, and made flat.
Right.
Now, I want to see your picture of what this looked like when he left.
You have it. It's in some of those photos.
Flats leveled.
You're talking about this?
Yes.
That's part of it. The close-ups, that's part of it.
Well, it looks like most of the stuff is done. It looked like a lot of cleanup left.
No, ma'am, we done all the cleanup.
Well, I haven't seen that, so then what you're supposed to do is take a photograph.
It was also buried underneath. These are the photos of when we did it ourselves and really leveled it out. And as we were doing that, we found so much buried underneath that should have been removed, but his Bobcat person buried it all.
Your Honor.
Mean buried
all the debris, all the concrete brick.
Okay, let me see the bill from the...
No, we did it ourselves. We rented equipment and did it ourselves on his vacation.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. $4,500 is so far what's owed on this contract. Now, your counterclaim is money owed for lost work, equipment rentals, labor and missing damages to property. What money owed for lost work?
During the second week that he was working, he called and said that his crew had left. This was the second day of supposed to be use of the Bobcat that I rented.
Okay, if you interrupt me again, I'm just dismissing your case. Do you understand?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
So
just explain lost work. Who's lost work?
His.
Living there. Okay. He wants to go. Go. I'm not interested in his lost wages for taking care of his house. So far, you owe the man the balance on his contract, unless you had somebody else do it, which is absolutely fine. And I would look at that removal of debris, what it costs you, and you're absolutely entitled to that. Deducted from what you owe him, which is $4,500.
But he didn't finish the job.
Just a second. You tell me, how am I supposed to gauge how much of the job he didn't finish? Did he not complete $2,500 worth? $3,500 worth? $1,500 worth?
I think the $7,000 we paid him was overpaid. He didn't have to end up removing an entire pool. He only had to remove...
That's your problem. Just a second. I read that. You said it's not a big pool. It wasn't 8 feet. It was only 24 inches. He gave you a price to level everything. Nothing delineated. Nothing in a written contract. The pool turns out to be 2 feet instead of 6 feet or 2 feet instead of 8 feet. Well, if he was the contractor and he came out and he looked at the pool, he said, oh, this is an 8-foot pool, and it turned out it's a 12-foot pool, he'd be stuck with 11.5, just like you're stuck with 11.5 because it was shallower. Now, you owe him $4,500 unless you want to produce for me bills that you have for rental equipment, etc., and I will absolutely deduct that from the $4,500. Just give me the bills and the amount of equipment. Don't say nothing, Mr. Retard. Mr. Rhodes, did you rent a Bobcat?
The one that I cleaned up the yard with?
Yes.
I rented a piece of equipment.
Jump up!
Yes.
And you know how they pick up metal?
No, I don't know that, sir. I'm a television personality. I don't know about people driving down the street to pick up metal. I've nenever had somebody drive down the street and say, I'm looking for metal. They don't even come down my street and ask if I want sharp knives.
Michael Attar has accused his former clients, Mary and Michael Rhodes, of refusing to pay for demolition work. Mary and Michael claim he never finished the job and stole their property.
Now, what did you rent?
A skip loader.
That's different from a Bobcat.
Yes, that's correct.
Supo?
No. It's from a local rental yard. I think it was
all the equipment we rented
in Ontario.
$1,300.
Yeah.
Find it.
Yeah.
Find the bill.
They didn't print it, so now I gotta.
How many days did you have it, Mr. Rhodes?
4.
I'm dismissing your counterclaim, Mrs. Rhodes. Do you want to know why? Because I asked him a specific question, and you answered. Do you understand? Do you understand? That part of your counterclaim, because you don't have it, you can't find it. So far, you owe him $4,500. Not $8,600, but $4,500. Now, do you have any proof that Mr. Attar or someone from his team stole copper piping or whatever piping that you claim was missing? Do you have any proof that either Mr. Attar or anyone under his authority took property from you?
Yes. We have text messages back and forth.
Okay, I'll read them. Okay, so what you're referring to with regard to the stolen property is you send a picture and there's a little piece of pipe there, one piece of pipe, and you say, Mike, did you or your guys happen to grind off 2 metal poles and concrete blocks? The kids use those for volleyball nets. And he says, oh my God, no, sir, but I'm guessing the person whom I gave my medal to, no problem, Michael, please give, and I don't see the rest of this message.
Yes, so that was the beginning of things we noticed that were missing.
Oh, I don't care.
And
If this is what you're talking about?
Yes, he's saying he let a metal person onto our yard, and they went and took everything that was metal.
Okay. Okay, now, Mr. Attar.
Yes, Your Honor.
I want you to tell me about the missing metal on this property.
She was standing right there, and there was a metal guy that drive down the street.
To pick up metal. I've never had somebody drive down the street and say, I'm looking for metal. They don't even come down my street and ask if I want sharp knives.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Very much, Your
Do you
Honor.
understand?
Very much, Your Honor.
Okay. Who is this person?
This person was picking up metal, and I asked for permission. I said, ma'am,
Just a
could he come
second.
down the property?
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Was this person picking up metal for nothing?
Yes,
Just a second. Yeah. You're a business guy. Mr. Attar, somebody drives down the street and says, you know, I see you're doing construction. Is there any metal around here that you want me to dispose of?
Yes, ma'am. They do a lot.
Yes. And then they look around. This is what you tell them. They look around and they take the metal for nothing.
Yes, ma'am. This would be cheaper for me instead of load it on my trailer and take it to the recycling metal yard.
So what metal did they take, sir? I assume
Everything
what?
that I gave him.
What
was
did you
right
give
there.
them?
Nobody went up there and cut no poles, ma'am.
Well, they sent you a picture of a pole, sir. And in response to the picture of the pole, you said, oh, my God, I'm guessing the person whom I gave my medal to.
I'm guessing.
No problem. And then you say later, tell me what it is, and I will either look high and low to get it back or replace it. That's what you say.
Yes, I offered to replace it.
That's what you say.
I offered to replace it.
Now, next question. I need an itemized list and what the value was of the metal taken.
No, there's a list of everything. They're listed in there.
What is this?
Those are all the damages, but the metal is listed in there separately of the items that are missing.
No, it isn't. This is a whole bunch of other things that you prepared for this case.
It's in there underneath. There's the horse feeder. Part of the corral was cut off.
This is something that you wrote yourself.
Yes, you said an itemized list.
If they took 6 feet of pipe, get me a bill from Home Depot for the replacement of that pipe.
Oh, I have
all the bills for the replacement of metal, not what you prepared for this litigation.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Itemized list.
Did you take down a horse corral?
No, Your Honor, I did not take no horse corral. I have nothing
Horse
to
corral
do.
is that? Just a second. Was there a 4-sided horse corral?
Yes.
That looked like this?
Yes.
That they took down?
They cut pieces that were sticking up above the horse corral, attached to the horse corral.
You're being petty. You're being petty. $306 Ram's price, galvanized wall-mounted horse feeder. Did you take a horse feeder?
No, Your Honor, I got no...
Yo, Mr. Attar, $4,500. Judgment for the plaintiff. The counterclaims dismissed. We're finished.
This court is adjourned.
Well, his equipment broke, and he wanted us to rent the equipment for him.
Equipment died because things break down.
And then the next day, he calls and says he can't finish it.
At that moment, I didn't have a credit card to my name. And that's the honest truth.
So we pretty much figured that was job abandonment at that point.
I'm going to have a written contract in the future. Don't hire
Always
him.
hire a professional.
I could not believe that your first question to him when he said that he'd been working as a contractor for 14 years was, and you've been working all 14 of those years unlicensed?
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for the question. I was waiting at the edge of my seat, and it never came.
Different minds. Yeah. Should have slipped me a note.
I should have.
You should have slipped me a note. No, that actually didn't cross my mind, but that's a good question.
Yeah, oral contracts and no license.
No license, but there's no question. He did the work.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He did the work, and they were really dickering over who was going to absorb the cost of this second Bobcat that they had to get, which was really ridiculous. If they had had another contractor who came and completed the job,
you would have awarded that.
I would have deducted it from the $4,500 that they owed him. But absent that, the fact that he rented some sort of piece of equipment and came and cleaned up the property was not important to me, and the rest of their case was nonsense. next time they won't employ somebody for $11,000 from a card from your windshield.
At Home Depot.
From
Anywhere.
wherever, and not say, okay, listen, maybe I'll give him a shot. Give me 3 of your last references.
Had a security deposit.
Miss Jenkins, you were a short-term roommate of the defendant's.
Yes, ma'am.
She put an ad on the internet.
Yes, it was in a Facebook group. I was referred by my college. It was for subleasing, rentals, apartments, of that sort.
A room?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the ad?
I actually do.
I would love to take a look at it.
No problem.
What college do you go to?
University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Miss Barnes, you were pretty specific in this. It says it's average about $800 a month. Utilities included, unfurnished, looking for a female roommate, sublease, personal, bedroom and bathroom, pool, tennis, laundry site. Must be willing to complete a background check.
Yes.
Okay. And did you go to look at the room?
Yes, ma'am.
On what date?
It was the same day that I signed the sublease, which was, I'm so sorry.
It was February the 10th.
No, I moved in on February the 10th. That is incorrect. We signed our sublease on, I believe it was actually maybe January 22nd.
Does it have a date on it?
This only has the date for when I will be moving in and
May
moving
I
out.
please see it?
The date is on the signature page.
Okay. It's on the last page of that packet.
You don't have... Well, who crossed this out? It says subleasee is one of, first it said 1, that's crossed out, and then it said 2 total tenants occupying the premises.
I did cross that out because it is 2 of us. And I accidentally wrote one of 1, but it's 2 of us total. And that was crossed out on the date that I signed it.
Is that correct?
Yes, it was quite a few changes on there.
So it was agreed that there would only be the 2 of you occupying the premises.
Not completely correct.
That's what it says, that there would be 2 people
Yes, ma'am.
occupying the premises. Am I correct?
In the initial agreement, I made it clear that...
No clear. This says the subleasee's interest in the sublessee is 1 of 2 total tenants occupying the premises. That's what the lease says, which means there are only 2 people, according to this sublease, which is signed, who will be occupying the premises. That's all it says. I haven't finished. This is what's binding.
Okay.
And this indicates that the subleasee, that's you,
Yes, ma'am.
does not need to obtain her permission
Not at all.
overnight guests, which would make sense that she doesn't need your permission to have overnight guests.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is what your case is about. Now I've read this agreement. You moved in February 10th?
Yes, ma'am.
And started to have difficulty because Miss Barnes has a boyfriend. That would be you.
Yes, ma'am.
And he was there a lot.
No, that was not a problem.
Well, according to you, it was a problem when he had his own key.
Yes.
And he came, according to you, unannounced.
Yes, ma'am. Alone.
Well, it doesn't say that he has to be announced. I can understand it if he was occupying the residence with his own key and there all the time. That certainly would be in violation of the lease. Would you stand up for a second? Tell me your name, sir.
It's Sean White.
Are you and the defendant currently living together now?
No.
Have you ever lived together?
No.
Can you tell me why it would be that you would have a key to her premises?
Well, she is my fiance. We've been together.
You're not living together.
Yes. In recent.
Yes. You're going to tell me.
Yes, ma'am. I'll tell you. In recent events, I just lost my father, and I'm trying to launch my trucking company and get that off the ground. So it's just wouldn't be the best thing right now.
How far is your residence from your fiance's?
About an hour and a half.
And her residence from your business?
I'm a truck driver, so I'm always mobile. But where I load at, she's usually close to it.
And that's when you stay at the house?
Yeah.
And how many times a week do you load your truck?
Close to her, maybe 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times a week?
Yeah.
So that means that you're spending either 2 or 3 nights a week at her house?
Yes.
Yes. And that's been going on for how long, sir?
Just this year.
So far, we're doing fine. You see, I don't yell unless someone provokes me.
Heard.
He seems like a very nice...
Vanshia Jenkins claims her former roommate, Victoria Barnes, owes...
Apartment?
No, Your Honor, they're usually in my truck.
When you're going to stay over, do you bring up a bag or do you bring up a backpack? What do you bring up with you?
A bag and a backpack.
Do you have toiletries in her bathroom?
No, ma'am.
You carry that with you?
Yes.
Now, when you're on the road, if you stay over 2 or 3 days a week at Miss Barnes's house and you're on the road, how many days a week are you on the road and sleeping either in your truck or at a motel or at a truck stop?
Between 2 and 3 days. It's all depending on where I go.
So that brings us to maybe 5 days a week or 6 days a week. And where is your home?
Affirmation of 1 hour.
Is that where your father lives?
I'm sorry, but he's passed.
He passed?
Yes.
Okay, so the house that you're staying in is his house?
Yeah.
Anybody else live there?
My mother.
So that 1 day a week you stay with your mom?
It's usually probably a Sunday when I don't have anything to do.
Do you stay at your mother's house?
Yes, that's my primary residence. Like it's maybe two days out of a week.
Mr. White, this is what we're getting. You see where we're starting to smile now? If you see your mother on Sundays and you're on the road half the week and you're at the defendant's house half a week, you can tell me from today until the cows come home that objectively you're on the road part-time. When you're not on the road 3 times as many days a week, you stay at her house. 1 day you stay at your mother's house, and you tell me that that's been going on since the beginning of the year, which would be January or so of 2022. That's what you just told me, and that actually makes sense.
I beg to differ though. Like the time that I stay there, it might be 8 hours, and then I'm back on the road. And it's like maybe 2 days out of the week.
Now you can sit down, Mr. White. Wait. Okay, I get the scenario, and not unusual, you were unhappy with this more frequent access than you were advised of.
May I add, I was not unhappy with how much he was there. It was only the fact that he had came in by himself and she hadn't let me know. I only had told her that that made me uncomfortable, and I got kicked out for it.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Well, when you say got kicked out, issue of house guests, were there any other issues that you had with her?
When the situation happened, she texted me and asked me where I was. I told her when I got home that we can have a conversation, and that's when an argument ensued, and multiple arguments happened after that.
Were they all about house guests?
Just about, yes, ma'am.
And at the beginning, they were all about Mr. White.
Right.
Okay. And your sublease agreement actually specifically says that only 2 people are living there.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. White has already made it crystal clear to me that he spends his time either on the road or at your house visiting his mom on Sunday. And that sort of makes this fuzzy. Okay, anyway, it didn't work out. He seems like a very nice man, nothing that frightens me.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
And he visits his mother on Sunday. The guy is a hero. Perfect for you.
Thank you.
So you moved out, you got another apartment, whatever it is. I don't know what you want from her.
I want the money that I gave her, period.
What money?
So she made me pay her security deposit.
No, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Security deposit.
Yes.
Fine. Did you get your security
No, ma'am.
deposit back?
Absolutely not.
How much was your security deposit?
$350.
Okay. Did you return her security deposit?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You have to return her.
Bits.
Just a second. Do you have photographs of the damage?
No, ma'am.
Good. $350. She gets her security deposit back.
Yes, ma'am.
What's next?
The remainder of the rent for the month that I moved out, which I moved out within.
Just a second.
Yes.
Did you pay her March's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
You did?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You paid that the beginning of the month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how much did you pay her?
$630.
Incorrect.
Clearly paid you February's rent when she moved in.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she pay you March's rent?
So she gave me...
That's either a yes or a no. If she paid you March's rent, did you get 2 months' rent from the plaintiff?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And she moved out.
Can I explain why I don't feel like I'm entitled to give her the money back? Because the apartment complex, when we got into the initial argument and I was made aware of the slander and the allegations that she was portraying against Sean and myself, I was told that being as though I made it legal on paper that she has. Also, Sean has seen her sending people to my house, her coming in and out of my house when I was at work, supposedly gathering her things, but my personal belongings came up missing.
Oh,
and she had access
Hold on
to
1
it.
second. After March 17th, did you have any property in the apartment? Just be very careful what you say to me. After March 17th, you say you physically left the apartment. Did you have any property there? That's either a yes or a no.
May I confirm the date so I just don't give you false information? Okay, thank
Yes.
you. So the very last day that I was there was...
March 22nd.
Shh.
You keep doing that. You keep doing that.
I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
Okay, so the very last day that I was there was on, I believe, March 20th.
Oh, then you owe for the month of March. Then you get your security deposit back, $350. We're finished. Thank you very much.
But that's all, Judge.
What? That's what she gets, her security deposit back. That's it. She gets her security back. Doesn't get rent, doesn't get moving costs, doesn't get damages. She gets her security deposit back. Goodbye. Have a happy life. Have a nice day.
This court is adjourned.
I really just thought that everything was fairly normal until just the conversation about me.
Us to mention him harming her in any type of way is not only offensive, but it's disrespectful.
It wasn't like, you know, he was my personal friend or I met him anywhere else. I met him through her, so I just didn't want to be home alone with him.
Honestly, it's outrageous. The implicate that I do anything to her is beyond me.
My safety does come first. I put me first. I got to put me first.
I wish her nothing but the best away from me.
I thought that the fiancé was absolutely charming.
I did too.
I thought he was such a nice guy.
Visits his mom on Sundays, has a job.
Hard-working, regular, stayed home while his dad was ill. Really a nice guy. But it was clear that he may say my primary residence is with his mother, but that's a visit on Sunday. When he can, he stays with his fiancée in the house. Clearly that was not part of the lease. But forget about that, Sarah. She's a tough broad.
Oh, a little bit of an attitude.
She had a little bit of an attitude. So I don't know.
It's always the nice guys that end up with
somebody with
women
an
with the attitude.
He's got to watch his P's and